Well, hello, Tyson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, episode 162 of Nick Tyson Videotape. We're very excited to be here tonight, Nick. Two.
Yep. Yes, we are. Two.
Yeah, we're talking 1975's Jaws.
75. Jaws. Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
The summer blockbuster origin.
Yeah, well, this is it. This is the granddaddy of them all. I think it's the reason the term exists. Well, that's how I remember from this book I read once. But I tried to find that book again. It was called. It's just called Blockbuster, and it's the history of how it just gives the history of certain films that originated the title, and then were the true ones that you could call blockbusters. I couldn't find it anywhere, so I couldn't get to reread it, so I might be making up nonsense. Right. Who knows? But I do have a pretty strong feeling that Jaws was the original blockbuster.
Yeah, I remember that bit due to making of that I've watched.
Sure.
And they've said that line that it was there was nothing like this beforehand.
There you go. So that's going to be a fun chat, Nick. I'm very excited for that. Before we do any of that stuff, though, how about you tell the people at home where they can find our show?
Sure, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to our show. If you are new to Nick Tyson Videotape, my name is Nick. This is my good friend Tyson. We talk movies from the comfort of our own home, and you can listen to them if you want.
That's it.
And if you like what you hear, you can subscribe, rate, review anywhere where you're listening to the podcast. And other than that, we do have a little bit of a social media
presence.
Presence. Thank you. That we jump on and share things and stuff like that. So we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on Instagram. We do have a Gmail account, which is nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com. If you wish to write us some correspondence, we are on YouTube. I said that already, didn't I?
I don't know if you said YouTube yet.
No YouTube.
No, yeah. But we definitely are.
YouTube. Yep, that's where my brother listens to. Hey Dan, you idiot.
Yeah, take that, Dan.
And take that down. And my good friend Tyson and myself are big fans of the Letterboxd app. So if you do wish to find out what we rated Jaws, you'll have to jump on there and follow us. So you can follow Tyson at TYS_videotape, and I am NIC_videotape.
That is it, Nick. You can also find us on Spotify and on Google Podcasts now, if they are your preferred methods of podcast listening. Preferred. Although I found that Google podcasts can be a little slow on the uptake. So,
oh really?
Yeah, you might have to wait a couple of days if you're a Google listener. Nick,
I love that mine is instant. Yeah,
let's talk a trailer.
Oh, let's talk one trailer. Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Everybody's talking trailers. All right, Nick. So we're going to... What is the name of this movie? This nonsense?
This is... What is this nonsense called? This nonsense is called Chaos Walking.
All right.
Such a terrible fucking title.
That was a terrible crash. We're lucky to be alive.
Whoa! Stop! Don't come any closer.
It's a girl.
Girl! Oh my gosh, girl. I'm sorry.
No blonde hair.
I've just never
seen a girl before. Who are you? It's so loud here.
We call it the noise. Happened to all the men on this planet. Every thought in our heads were on display.
Where are all the women?
They're dead.
What is she thinking? Where the hell is her noise?
It's strange to see everything you're thinking.
You know, it's strange for me, too, not knowing what's going on in your head.
I mean, I don't know, you might not like my dog, or you want to hit me over the head with a rock or something.
I like your dog.
He's stronger than he knows. You better watch your noise.
Snake. If those men catch you, they'll kill you.
Get in the boat!
If you want to protect the girls, you have to leave now.
Safe, keep you safe, keep you safe.
With her power, there's no telling what he can do. I need that girl before she warns him. How many are coming? 100. 200.
Thousands.
Come on. I am Ty Hewitt. Be a man. Fight.
Be quiet. I'm trying.
Come on. Fight.
All right, here we go, Nicholas. Now, it's been a bit of a dry patch for trailers.
It has.
We found that there was not much to talk about when it comes to Shark Boy and Lava Girl getting a sequel. The movie we were all clamoring for.
Oh, it's been a dry year, hasn't it, Tyson?
Look, it has. Look, my end of year lists, Nick, are going to be slim because I have seen about 7 movies that were released this year, I reckon.
7? You're doing way better than me, man. I've seen 5. That's including
I could be completely wrong. I'm taking a stab here.
Yeah, right. That's including Hamilton, which I don't really count.
Oh, yeah. I suppose you can count that. That's
No. Don't count that.
Yeah, so it's going to, the way things are going, the end of this year is going to be a very strange list of favourites.
Right.
This movie was okay, I guess.
Yeah,
Bloodshot.
It's kind of the only thing I watched. I am. In saying that though, 2021 is going to be. I feel like there's going to be a new movie every week.
Oh, it's going to be so stacked
at least.
Yeah, and look, with fingers crossed. Anyway, we're not in the clear yet. We're in the clear here, but that doesn't matter because we don't make movies here. We make garbage movies here. So.
That's true. We make reality TV. If you're into that, all power to you. But our movies are thin.
Look, and that's it's unfair. I don't like many Australian movies, but there are some. I don't think we've done have we done a single Australian movie on this show?
Oh, I don't think we have. Oh, is that bad? That's not bad. No, because we're in agreement, Tyson. Australian movies suck.
We probably should do one.
Honestly.
We are about to get into our not quite Christmas movies, Nicholas. So maybe
we could do Crackers.
I was about to say Crackers.
That's actually really good. I found that really funny.
Rose Thorne, isn't it?
Yeah, the dog goes through the barbecue and that's all I remember.
I mean, that just sounds exactly what I would expect from an Australian comedy. That at some point a dog tears up a barbecue. But yeah, so where am I going with this? Yeah, so Slim Pickens. We have now, though, had a trailer that seemed kind of interesting called Chaos Walking. Chaos Walking? Chaos Walking.
Chaos Walking. A very rubbish title. Speaking of rubbish titles, we'll get to Jaws later, but I watched a little bit of the back, and the writer of the book was like, they were throwing around titles like The Shadow of the Deep.
Oh, hello.
Or
The Shark That Couldn't Die. The Shark That Wouldn't Die. That's a good one.
Something like The Dividing Fin or something
Jesus.
like that. I'm like, oh, shit.
Well, he'd already used The Deep for something, or did that come after? Did he write that after George
really?
did?
I have no idea.
George. Can you imagine if this is called George instead of Jaws? Hey, George, what's up?
George, don't do that.
No, but yeah, this is also a bad movie title. But is it based on a book or something?
I don't know. I did see...
I'll have a quick squiz.
Hang on. I did see,
You did see... Yeah, it's adapted from... Oh, my God.
Text in the trailer saying something.
Speaking of terrible fucking book titles, this is based on a book called The Knife of Never Letting Go.
Well, that is the most stupidest thing I've ever heard.
It's the first book in the Chaos Walking series. There you go.
Did you say The Knife?
The Knife of Never Letting Go.
The Knife.
Look, and I'm sure there's some kind of relevance to that, but
okay.
Yeah. Thanks,
right.
guys. But yeah, so it's called the Chaos Walking series, which is why we have the title Chaos Walking.
Yeah.
I think the thing that I'm most excited about this, well, there's a couple of things actually. It's directed by Doug Liman, who I'm a huge fan of.
We like Doug Liman.
Yeah.
We like him.
I think he has pretty much lifetime pass based on
Lifetime Pass.
Edge of Tomorrow, Swingers.
Okay.
Like,
yeah,
he can do
Swingers was good.
Yeah,
Swingers was very good. He hit a bung note with Jumper.
Yeah.
But
Look, he's made some
there was
movies that I don't love, but
I feel like there was some meddling in Jumper. I feel like there was meddling.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. The first Bourne movie, Bourne Identity. So he kind of created that series. So I'm excited about that because any new movie from him is always something to at least be moderately excited for.
That's true.
And I'm excited to see Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley.
We've got and Mads. We've got Mads in there as well.
A bit of Mads. Mads always goes all right.
Yeah. Mads is always fun.
For me, I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't turned up in this kind of role in one of these series already. You know what I mean? Like, how is Mads not in the Hunger Games somewhere? Like, he's perfect for that kind of shit. How has someone not gone already? Hey, can we get Mads Mikkelsen in this role?
Can someone bring Mads? Because could we bring him down?
We just need a menacing, kind of intimidating gentleman that perhaps has a scar over his eye. Can we get Mads Mikkelsen? That'll be perfect.
Someone call Mads. Imagine how, like, when they were doing Casino Royale and they needed a villain, everyone was like, has anyone seen The Hunt? Was The Hunt out before or after? Anyway, has anyone seen this actor, Mads Mikkelsen? He has a scar on his, like, this man was born to play a Bond villain. Like,
100%.
Can someone call him? Can someone call this man?
Do you know one of my favourite Mads performances? Have you ever seen Valhalla Rising?
I haven't.
That movie is batshit insane. That is, it's Nick Winding Refn. So, it's his usual kind of shtick where it's really, very slow, really methodically paced. But it's just like this weird Viking movie. They're just set in the mud. It's like Game of Thrones, but with none of the like interesting fun stuff.
Right.
It's just like Vikings, but they be Viking. Like and it is
really
fucking intense. And Mads is so good in it.
Right.
Yeah. He's one of those underrated guys that I forget how much I enjoy him in everything he's in.
Mads, yeah. When Rogue One fucking started and that picturesque start happened with Mads in the field and it was dark and dingy and rainy, I was like, oh my God, Star Wars has turned a corner where this is going to be like, this isn't going to be a kids movie. I thought it was going to be really intense.
Yeah.
I need to watch I need to watch Rogue One again. But the fact that it kind of, it started off like that, I was like, wow, this looks good.
Rogue One is like, or is constantly for its entire running time almost a fantastic movie. Like,
yeah,
it's the movie that it's like every single second of screen time you're like, oh, you're just nearly there. You're nearly making this like a fantastic movie. And it just never gets there. It is the perfect 7 out of 10, that movie.
Perfect 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. You're like, oh, geez, you almost had me. You almost
had me, Rogue One. But now you're just like this forgotten thing that I always...
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm not going to buy you, and I'm probably not going to watch you again. But, maybe when my son goes, hey, Dad, let's watch all the Star Wars, I go, okay, let's watch all of it.
When your son goes, hey, Dad, how did those guys get the map of the Death Star? And you're like, wow.
Yeah. Dad, tell me a movie where they just made up a premise out of like one line of a previous movie. One line.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I've got something for you. But so this is the premise of this movie, Nicholas. Now, I'm a little confused.
Yeah.
The only thing that seems really clear is that you can see people's thoughts.
That's true. It is very... Now, I think it's set on Earth. I'm going to kind of say that it's set on Earth.
Okay.
But this is very, very far into the future because a woman, being Daisy Ridley, comes down in a capsule from space and lands, and everyone's like, oh my God, a woman. We've never seen a woman in ages. They say that in the trailer, so obviously they know what women are. But the thing is, you can't... she doesn't have any what they call noise, which is kind of rainbow things around you, which is your... subconscious kind of talking. Subconscious? Would you say subconscious?
Yeah, I think it's just your... Yeah, I think it's all your thoughts.
Or your conscious, I guess.
Yeah.
Your conscious talking. Yeah. So from there, I don't know, it gets to the point where I think her and Tom Holland become friends, and then she needs him to do something, and he goes against the grain and helps her out, and everyone's kind of hunting them.
Yep.
All the rest of the people are hunting them, Mads and all that stuff. But he's helping her. And that's all you really get from this trailer anyway. I think there'll probably be another trailer. But yeah, I think... look, it looks interesting to me. I'm all for it, and especially seeing Tom Holland in a different role than Spidey. I'm looking forward to it.
I think it would be interesting to see him doing something else. I'm not sure if I'm sold on this premise yet.
Okay.
But, you know, I mean, it has, you know, a sense of originality to it. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of these movies, like, it has one hook. And, like, this is that thing that I hate in movies where there is something that is like the hook, right? And they have a dumb name for it. And they always have a dumb name for it. And it's only worked once, and that was in The Shining. And so the dumb hook of this is, you know, every male thought is projected out, and you can see it and hear it, and then they call it the noise. And it's kind of like, all right, whatever.
Such a bitter old man.
I hate that shit. That's why I've talked about this. It's why I really struggle with that first Harry Potter movie, because it's that.
I love it.
The dialogue is that for 2 hours. And then the last 15 minutes is actual plot.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. The amount of times that Harry says, Hagrid, what is that? Yeah. I'm like, shut up, Daniel. Shut up.
That's it. Stop coming up with dumb names for shit. Also, now correct me if I'm wrong, Nicholas, I find there is a flaw in this premise.
Okay.
And I really hope the movie in some way addresses it. But for a bunch of dudes that have not seen a female for a very long time, I think there is one very specific thought that may be predominantly at the forefront of their subconscious for most of them when they come across a woman for the first time. Which is a woman. I'm suddenly aroused.
Well, I don't know about that. Maybe it's a gay planet.
Oh yeah, maybe.
I'd be happy for a gay planet. How rad would that be? That'd be so good.
It'd be a simpler life.
Look at. It'd be lovely.
All right, look. Hey, there you go. You found a flaw. You found a solution to my flaw.
There you go.
I think I feel like the movie would need to address it at some point, because if we go the entire entire 2 hours and not one person is like, oh yeah, I'd tap that. That is.
Well, I don't think. Well, in situations like this where it's this movie, I think I'm going to reference some random fucking Book of Eli. Do you remember that? Did you see Book of Eli?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, do you remember how in that sort of situation it was you have either men who are normal and, you know, would maybe pursue in courting said woman, or you have the other side of men, which is to gang rape and fucking just take what's not there sort of thing. So maybe we might have that. I don't know. Maybe Tom Holland will get a defending, or not even, maybe fucking Daisy Ridley or Kick-Ass, just like in.
Hey, look, I'm not saying every one of them is going to be nefarious in nature, but
no,
you know.
But if it comes across, you're saying that if the movie doesn't
somebody
at least
must look
address
at it's Daisy Ridley as well. Somebody's going to look at Daisy Ridley and be like, wow, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, someone at the back goes, mine. And he gets slaughtered.
Exactly.
Shut up, you idiot.
Well, I did also notice that at one point in this trailer, he's able to manifest something using his thoughts. So that's interesting as well.
That.
So that would be
interesting as well.
A dangerous game, because
look at
there'd be lots of things to kill boredom that you could manifest.
Look, you're not getting bored, is all I'm saying.
No, that's it. It's like I just would manifest a racetrack, and let's manifest like a Dodgem Cars. Yes, I want to play Dodgem Cars.
Exactly.
Manifest a PS5 and HD television. Go.
Yes, look what I got.
Look what I got.
We did it.
Yeah,
we did that ages ago.
Yeah, actually, that's the. I don't even know what these things are anymore.
Everyone's got them. Yeah.
Inside our heads, like it's sewn into our brain. We have a little chip that basically acts as that.
So good. I hope it is like that. I hope it is eventually sewn into it. It's not that I will know, because we'll be dead and gone by the time
well dead and gone.
But but hopefully it manifests to, like, do you remember the video game in Her? Spike Jonze's Her?
Yeah.
Where he was walking with his hands. There was no controller. He was just walking with his hands.
Yeah.
He had to do something. The video game character was like, hey, fuck you. And I'm like, don't fucking swear at me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, surely that's the way we're going.
Yeah.
I am
But are you
conscious of that technology. I don't even like to have a fucking Siri turned on, so I don't know how I'm going to go with
you're screwed
with video games in my brains.
Yeah, controller, old school controller. So would you see this, Tyson? Is this a movie?
Look, I don't know, man. I didn't see.
Has it piqued your arouser? You said Doug Liman was good.
Yeah,
you said
he is good, but we do get movies from reasonably good directors that are just this teen kind of book series trash, and I feel like I haven't really been interested in any of them, to be honest. Like, I watched the first Hunger Games and I found it pretty average, and then was I don't need to see any more. I watched the first Divergent, if it was called that. Yep. And it was completely adequate. Same with the Maze Runner movies, Ender's Game, City of Ember.
City of Ember, yep.
Yeah, I mean, like,
anything
there
else?
are thousands.
Harry Potter, that was pretty shit.
Yeah. Poor Harry. Hagrid.
I love that. Hagrid?
Yeah, no, there was one other one I was just thinking of. Oh, and most of them fail as well. This is the problem, is most of them you're like, ooh, this is going to be like Mortal Instruments, or no. Was that called Mortal Instruments? The one where it was all floating cities?
Yeah, Mortal Vehicles, was it?
Because they all have the same kind of like, oh, guys, this is going to be the new one. It's the new one.
This is the new Harry Potter. Yeah, and you're like, it's not.
It's not. None of them are.
It's not.
Well, yeah, they're all trying to be... I don't think they're all trying to be the new Hunger Games, really. That's what they're hoping for. That kind of crossover adult to teen audience. Mortal Engines, thank you. Mortal Instruments, I think, is the City of Bones, which was also one that they tried to get going that didn't happen.
I feel like that trailer for Mortal Engines, like, it looked okay.
It did. And it's just on Netflix now, and I could just push play on it and give it a go.
You could. Give it a crack. But
it's got Hugo Weaving in it.
And how good? Please, Hugo does. He does anything.
Hey, look.
He literally is a whore.
He does.
What do you need? What do you need me to do?
What do you need?
Yeah, sure.
I need I need an extension on my boat.
Exactly. 2 days in the VO. Yeah, sure. I'll do that.
Yeah, I'll see you there.
You don't need me at all. I'm an animated character. Yeah, sure.
Kids, we're putting another wing on the fucking palace. Yeah, good old Hugo Weaving. But yeah, they're all garbage. So I'll wait until we hear something.
Okay, so maybe some feedback.
Yeah, for sure. And then I also don't want to get invested because none of these movies have self-contained plots, right? None of them finish with the end of the story. So I don't want to go into all these and being like, yes, a series that it's going to be like 4 or 5 movies, and then there's one and no one else makes another one because it bombs hideously. And so I have this unfinished story just sitting there stewing. And I'm like, well, what do I do now?
Well, what the
Read
fuck?
The books?
Yeah. That's literally how I feel about Fincher's Girl with the Dragon Tat.
Yeah,
I read all the books, ready to go, loved it. Fincher was my fave. Rooney Mara was so well cast, and I was like, come on, man, come on.
At least if you do want to watch them, the Noomi Rapace ones are good.
They're very passable. Yeah, they're very good.
There's a box set on Amazon of all the extended ones on Blu-ray for like $15.
Really?
Yeah, that's a good deal.
I have them all. I have them all. I got them on a 2 for $10 deal.
Nice.
I forget. Yeah,
so I'm thinking about picking that up because I have not seen any of them. So
they're good.
Yeah, I've heard they're really good.
Nomi's very good.
I think that's it.
As far as this goes, Tyson, we'll wait. We're gonna wait.
We're gonna
hear something.
We're gonna sit on it.
We're gonna wait.
Indeed. Right. Feature press.
All right. Feature press.
Let's do it.
Dun.
Who needs an orchestra? We got this.
Exactly.
And now for our feature presentation. There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws. This is Universal's extraordinary motion picture version of Peter Benchley's best-selling novel, Jaws.
I just found out that a girl got killed here last week. And you knew it. You knew there was a shark out there. You knew it was dangerous, but you let people go swimming anyway.
You yell barracuda. Everybody says, huh? What? You yell shark. We've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
Is it true that most people get attacked by sharks in 3 feet of water, about 10 feet from the beach?
Yeah. What we are dealing with here is a perfect engine, an eating machine.
We're not only going to have to close the beach, we're going to have to hire somebody to kill the shark.
Bad fish. But I'll catch him and kill him.
Did you hear your father? Out of the water now!
This shark, swallow you whole. You're gonna need a bigger boat.
That's a 20-footer.
25. 3 tons of them.
Hurry up, he's coming straight for us. Don't screw it up now. Don't wait for me. Now! Shoot!
What's the deal?
Give him room! I can't, he's trying to run! Oh! Come quick! I can't hold it! Hurry! Break it up! Brody! Everybody out of the water!
None of man's fantasies of evil can compare with the reality of Jaws. Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss, Jaws. See it before you go swimming.
All right.
Jaws, Tyson.
Jaws. It's funny when you think about that title, isn't it? Because if you lived in a world where you didn't know Jaws existed and you saw that as a title, you'd be like, what? What do you mean?
What do you mean Jaws? What do you mean Jaws didn't exist? What do you mean? Like Jaws?
Well, let's say you were in a coma since 1975 and someone said, do you want to watch Jaws?
Oh, sure.
And you'd be like, what's that about?
What?
A dentist?
Yeah. A man with a severe overbite?
I mean, yeah, exactly. Someone's false teeth has a mind of their own. That's a good movie, by the way. Let's do that movie. What are we doing?
Let's do that movie. Let's see that one. Come on, we want to... All right, we're starting up a GoFundMe page.
Yeah.
Let's see it. Let's see it.
Our GoFundMe page should just be 1-sentence descriptions of a bunch of ridiculous movies and just say, look, if any of these take your fancy, give us some money.
Give us some
We
cash.
promise one of them will get half
We'll
written.
get it started.
Exactly. We'll do at least a tight 5 pages. On one of them.
Starring Hugo Weaving.
And Hugo will come and he'll read it out loud like an audio book.
I'm in. Yep. I'm in. Yeah, I'm fine.
So good.
Love these guys. They're from Australia. They're great.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be weird. It would. Do you have a history with Jaws? What age did you watch it at?
Oh, very young, and I've never seen it since. So I have
really?
very
This was
little.
fresh?
It was almost completely fresh. Yeah.
Whoa!
It was just one of those.
Awesome.
For that and E.T., both have I have really similar relationships with, because watched them when I was quite young, probably 7 or 8. Because they were just on telly, and the family would watch them, and it was like, of course, we'll sit around and then I've just never gone back to watch them, and I don't know why. I have this weird kind of.
Yeah, right.
I've always had this weird kind of resistance to going back and watching, Jaws, E.T., Close Encounters. It's very strange, and I don't exactly know why. Even though I have both, in Close Encounters and E.T. in these whiz-bang special editions that I've bought because I wanted to have them.
I've seen your E.T. whiz-bang.
Yeah,
that
sick.
is beyond
so
insane whiz-bang edition.
I love it. So funny.
Fucking spaceship. Yeah. Yeah. So this is fresh watching.
So there was,
That's
look,
awesome.
I mean, there were moments that I definitely remembered because they had made such an impact on me, and there are certain bits that are just so well known in public consciousness that you feel like you're watching a movie you've already seen anyway. You know, I've seen that shot
100%.
of Quint scraping the chalkboard and all that kind of that kind of stuff. I've seen the scooping the chum in, and then he throws back with the
puts his head out, and you're going to need a bigger boat and all that shit.
Exactly. Yeah. Although I swear to God, he said we're going to need a bigger boat, but he says you're going to need a bigger boat, doesn't he?
You're going to need a bigger boat. Yeah.
I could have swore that line was we're going to need a bigger boat, but there you go. There you go.
Nice.
So this was relatively fresh. What about you, Nick?
Nice. I remember as a kid. So my dad showed me this movie. Possibly too young, maybe not. I don't know. Do you class Jaws as a horror movie?
I know that some people do. I find it really hard to, though. I feel
it's hard. Yeah.
I can't qualify this as horror because while there are a couple of random jump scares, it feels far more like an adventure film to me.
Because it's not too actiony. Like it's not balls to the wall action.
Yeah, we will talk about the reasons why. I think there are a few clear reasons why. Look, if anyone wants to call it a horror movie, by all means, call it a horror movie. That's well within your rights, of course. But for me, it didn't feel. Yeah. I know. As a kid, I wasn't particularly scared of it. That wasn't the reason why I didn't watch it for this long.
Yeah, right.
But also watching it again now and literally like having no fear whatsoever. It doesn't feel anything like a horror movie to watch.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not scary. You're not scared of it. Yeah, but it did have like the effect, especially in '75. Like my mum telling me like the beach was fucking empty that summer. No one went swimming at all.
I find that so incredible. Like, but that's that's the power of good movie making.
Exactly. So I saw it as a young kid. I think it was it would have been about 7, maybe.
Yep,
7 or 8.
Yeah. No, I think that's pretty standard time that everyone decides. Time for Jaws.
And Dad, because he's a police officer, they used to. When you're on night shift and there's nothing to do, they used to just watch movies. So Amazing. Dad brought home a VHS copy of Jaws, but it was a proper copy. It wasn't taped off the thing. And I remember because if you looked at and I love this. I love that I remember this detail. If you looked at the front of the VHS where you put it in like that, the title was not smack bang in the middle. It was on the side here.
Oh,
like that.
Nice. I like that.
And it was so cool. I was like, oh, that's so bizarre. And that was ours. Dad didn't give it back to the friend who he borrowed it from and just kept it like an asshole. Have that? No, I wouldn't. Maybe it's at Mum's house, but I'm not sure. Oh, maybe I'll check. I'm pretty sure she rang me. Like not that long ago, about probably 3 years ago, went, Nick, I am getting rid of all the VHS tapes.
No.
I was like, Mum, go for it. I was like, yeah, go for it.
Oh, dude.
Go for it. There's literally nothing in there because all the ones that I want are in my house.
Yeah, no.
Now.
Fair enough.
So, yeah. But yeah, this Jaws was my kind of go-to movie when I wasn't feeling great.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Was a little bit sick, stayed at home and popped on Jaws and just had a gay old time.
I can definitely see that because to me the stuff that works the best in this movie is that adventure element stuff. Like that's the stuff for me that I was just blown away by how much I was blown away by how much fun this movie was, and I didn't really expect that.
Right.
It's such a rollicking good time. And I know people are dying and there's some really sad shit going on and, it gets a bit manic towards the end there, but man, it's fun. It's not depressing. Good. It's not like,
no,
it doesn't try to like suffocate you with the, shark death stuff where it's just like, you know, like a movie like, I watched not that long ago a movie called Crawl. Have you seen?
Yeah, I really want to watch that.
It's pretty good. Was that good? It's pretty good, man.
Yeah, right.
But that to me is a little bit
the croc, isn't it?
It's a bunch of crocodiles that get into an attic, a basement in Florida during a storm,
during a flood. Yeah,
and see that is like that's fun too, but that's really intense, like in your face survival horror to do with crocs.
Yeah.
Whereas this to me, it doesn't feel like this at all. It feels like it feels just like a good time. With obviously high stakes, and it's very thrilling. But in the same way, like an Indiana Jones movie is thrilling and pretty intense, and has moments of terror, if you will. Like, I'm not saying watching a bunch of Nazis melt isn't a little bit, terrifying, but you'd never call Indiana Jones a horror movie. It's an adventure. And
so satisfying.
So, yeah, that's how all the Nazis should go, have their faces melted.
Exactly. I agree. So yeah, it was so funny. Like, it's in my horror section because I don't really have an adventure section, but you're really right. It is an adventure.
I feel like it was in a lot of horror sections. I think it was in the Video Easy horror section as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was in our action section. We had it in action.
Oh, maybe it was.
But it's not like, looking at it, it's not an action movie. And saying that as well, like having watched like Predator, RoboCop, all the things that we grew up with as a kid. The start of this movie, like Dad, maybe we watched American Werewolf in London, and that was kind of my dad's only horror movie that he showed me.
Sure.
And that absolutely petrified the shit out of me. When what's his name gets attacked in the moors, and he's screaming, you just see the werewolf just tearing at him. That actually scared the shit out of me. I remember as a kid, I was so scared, and I didn't want to watch it anymore. I was but I kept going. It ends quite quickly with shotguns and things like that. But yeah, the same as the start of Jaws. When she starts screaming, that swimmer.
Yep.
That still stays with me. Her scream is quite chilling. But that's the thing. Like, that's all that it really has, Jaws. Like, there's no other horror element, really. It's all about catching the fish, the reaction of the island, the tourists, all that stuff.
There is an argument that you can say that the shark kind of stalks them, like slasher movie style almost, which I can kind of get on board with. But you are right, like those deaths, her death especially, it's pretty brutal, and the way she screams is pretty like
horrible.
It kind of gets to your blood, like, and that's a really effective thing. But I suppose if you're making a movie about a shark killing people, you're going to have that. You know what I mean?
Screaming.
Yeah. And I think just because it is about a killer shark doesn't necessarily make it a horror movie. I think is kind of the bottom line there. I think
that's true. Is Deep Blue Sea a horror movie?
I don't know. I don't think so. That's leaning a bit more towards action sci-fi for me.
Okay. Yeah.
But then again, something like The Shallows is a horror movie.
There you go.
So it really is in the way you... Okay, so there's one big thing that makes me feel like this is not a horror movie, and that's the score. I think the score signposts this movie that you are not meant to feel dread while you're watching this movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, the Jaws theme is very... suspenseful
Hunting.
for sure, and it's like a hunter and its prey, absolutely.
Yeah.
But there are so many opportunities in this movie to kind of induce dread while they're out on the water, and instead we get these rollicking like Great Escape trial. Dun, dun,
Yeah.
da, 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 da,
we really do.
And you're like, oh,
It's
right.
so good.
Fuck yeah, we're out on the boat.
We're on. Let's
do this.
Yeah.
And so, like,
That's so true.
you can't have that mounting dread if it was intended to be that way. You can't have that with the score doing that kind of stuff. And it's not like it happens once. It happens, like,
it happens many times.
All the time. All the time. I think then obviously Spielberg would have okayed the score, and Williams would have worked together, and he would have asked for certain things and wanted things. So I feel like if Spielberg wanted it to be really menacing horror, he wouldn't have had that in the score. It would have been like those sweeping shots of the orca just kind of sitting there or driving along quite quickly. Driving? Is that what you call it when a boat goes along?
Sailing?
Thank you. Driving. He would have wanted more, moody kind of stuff, like they're heading towards their doom,
Yeah.
But instead, it's like, we're having a rollicking good time. Hi ho, hi ho.
So many great moments in this movie, isn't there?
Yeah, look,
Jesus.
it's full of great moments, and there's most of them, like I was saying, are kind of iconic and have been around forever.
So was there anything that stuck out this watch that kind of maybe blew you away? Because I'm gonna go on the fact that our listeners, all of them, have seen Jaws. If you haven't,
I mean, we're going to spoil Jaws for sure.
You have to kind of but it's not that there's really anything to spoil.
No, there's not really anything to spoil. The shark dies. That's but
exactly. It's what has to happen.
It has to happen. As far as surprises go, I would say I was a bit shocked at how much time is spent early on just kind of chatting.
Yeah, sure.
Like it's actually a pretty quiet movie for a lot of the first hour 15 or so.
Yeah.
And it obviously has some of the, like, a few of those really great sequences. Obviously the opening sequence is pretty great. Aside from that other actor, the drunk guy actor.
I love him.
I'm
think
not
it's great.
drunk.
It's 75, man.
Yeah,
like, seriously, he's like, yeah, man.
It's more funny for him because when he's drunk, it's kind of like, oh yeah, okay, you're drunk. The day after, when he's I watched his reaction when they found the body.
Dude.
He's so funny. He's acting like a primary school kid who's been told that you need to. Now, guys, the best acting is reacting. Remember that, because he's like, he gets some bad news and he like does a full double take with his eyes so wide. Bless his heart.
Whereas the deputy police officer who's sitting on the beach because of what he's seen.
Oh, yeah, like
he's
distraught.
getting like a rad performance where he's just destroyed by what he's seen.
Exactly. But yeah, so the movie kind of really takes its time. And I loved how Quint showed up, gave his incredible speech about, I'll hunt him. Yeah,
catch him. You get the tail, the head, the whole thing.
And then disappears from the movie for half an hour. Like, isn't in it. And I was like... So,
you get a glimpse of him going past when they've caught the tiger shark.
That's right.
And you see Quint on his boat going, that's not the shark.
That's not it. So I like... And because in my memory, this movie is like compressed into moments, in my memory, it was like... Quint shows up, he scrapes the blackboard because it's fucking amazing because they're all arguing and it's the thing that shuts them up, and they, it's also a Simpsons... the iconic Simpsons moment. So I love it. And then in my memory, it was like, okay, great. Then now we go get the shark. But no, there's there's all this other stuff.
45. You got like a good 45 before we go get the shark.
And just, the conversations with Brody and his wife and the family dynamic. I
loved all that.
It's really nice. Like it is really nice.
Yeah, it really is, because you get you sit with the characters so much. Like, he really shows those characters. Richard Dreyfuss's character is my favorite. I love him. I think he's great.
He's
coming
great.
in and doing all the stuff with Brody, and really coming in and kind of being the authority on what should be happening, where Brody's hands are kind of tied, but also wanting to help out, and he has this family to take care of as well. So
I really like when Hooper turns up, how it's just immediately they're buds. Like, other movies would have that kind of animosity between the two, where it's like, I'm the oceanic director, and the chief of police would be like, well, I'm the chief of police, and we're going to butt heads a little bit. But he turns up and it's like, oh, great. Oh, you're Brody? Awesome. Yay, let's work together.
Cool. So true. And he just brings red and white to his house. Actually, is anyone eating this? I'm like...
that was I think that was my favorite scene of just... okay, so there's one obviously much better scene later, where it's just people sitting around talking. But that was my other favorite, just people sitting around talking scene, because it's so lovely the way that they look at each other and they just want to have a giggle. It's like you can see that they want to crack up, and he's just like... hell of a day, or whatever it was,
he goes, tough day, huh?
Fucking, and they just crack up a little bit, and it's like, you know what? Well, let's just drink. Let's just have a drink, and let's just talk it out. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. They had such great. And he pours the tumbler full of red wine, and I'm like, that is a man that knows how I like to drink on a Friday afternoon. Oh dear.
So good.
Yeah, their chemistry together was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
All of the moments intercut with little things like the two old guys getting the rump roast and throwing it out, and kind of having a little mini moment how they get attacked by Jaws and things like that. I love it. It's one of my favorites. Also, you can tell that Spielberg knew what he was doing at the start. Like, from the start, you don't really see the shark, like, really at all. You don't see him from a good quarter of the movie. Like, the only real major scene that you see him in is when he grabs the guy in the fishing boat, when everyone's on the beach and helicopters everywhere is on the beach.
Oh, yeah.
And the shark goes in the pond.
Yes.
And you see it's all the shots that I love are all the aerial shots of the shark. And I love how, like, all the things that you read about Jaws is how the shark didn't work, how it looks fake, how everyone hated it. Spielberg fucking hated the shark. It was a fucking pain to his existence. Because of the shark, their shooting schedule got blown way out of fucking proportion. But, all the shots that I see and all the moments that I watched, I love. I think the shark looks great. I think he looks fucking
fantastic.
real. I think it looks great.
You never doubt its authenticity for me. I never did.
Exactly.
And look, maybe that's just very good direction and photography, probably.
Yeah, and nice editing. Quick editing, yeah. But yeah, all the shots that I love is the shots where the camera's above the water and you see down and the shark, you see how big he is and how fast he's coming up. And it just works. It just works so well.
I was watching a thing online, and I didn't realise that they hired 2 people to do all the underwater shots to get footage of sharks. So they're actually Australian. They're from South Australia. I saw them talking on an interview.
Right.
Yeah, they're just like these local South Australian beach people who like to do underwater photography, and they got a whole bunch of footage of sharks underwater. And sent it over, and they used a whole bunch of it. And in order to get scale right, they the cage that Hopper goes down in, they made a mini one of them, and a shark just fucking ate it. Right, crushed it in South Australia, and that's the footage they use when the shark is going nuts on the cage. It's a mini cage.
Always wondered how they did that, because that is a real. You can tell that that's a real shark when he rolls on the cage. I'm like, that's clearly real. That is very real.
So that was really cool.
Mini cage,
down in South Australia, mate. Cage.
Nice.
You should hear them talk. They're so fantastically Australian. Oh yeah, so I flew over to Hollywood and had a meeting with Steven Spielberg, and we talked about getting some footage. And I said, I can do that. It was just they're so lovely. You could just see like that's typical true blue Aussies. Oh, bless them. What else? But yeah, I'm with you, man. I reckon the shark looks really wicked, like fantastic. Mint. I love it.
Yeah. So because we were doing this, and I do have Jaws. I own Jaws. But I knew that the 4K version was out, and I splurged a little and had a look at it on 4K.
Great.
And it looks good. It looks mint. But it's nothing to really write home about. It's 1975. Like, cleaning up a movie that much, it's not gonna. It's you're not looking at Endgame.
No, it's still going to have.
Sort of
there's going to be some focusing issues and things like that. I could see that a little bit. I watched it on Prime Video, and the transfer on Prime. I don't know if it is the 4K, but my God, it is good. Because Prime does have 4K streaming capabilities.
It does,
so
yeah.
I'm not sure if this was one of the 4K ones, but it doesn't tell you anymore. It used to tell you.
Yeah, because Stan does 4K, but you have to actually pay a little bit more to get Stan in 4K. And I'm like, well, can you just have a little? I just need. You remember when you used to watch something on TV and adults only, or the rating would come up in.
Want a little.
I just want a little quick little. You are watching it in 4K.
I know. Wouldn't that be lovely
for it to disappear? How good would that be?
Yeah.
Can we do that? Who do I write to?
Or when you push pause and there's like all those little choices like fast forward, rewind, just a little 4K thing down that's like lit up or something. So cool. I'm streaming fast enough that I can now see it in 4K.
That I've got
fantastic.
4K. Exactly.
Because but the transfer looks fantastic on Prime. Like, I was really shocked at how good it looked at times. Yeah. Some of it obviously the focus is a bit off, but
but it's kind of one of the movies where I don't mind a bit of grain.
I like grain in general. I think grain is I think grain gets a bad rap. I feel like...
Yeah, I think it helps movies, to be honest. Like, a lot of movies, I think it really helps. Like, you can't... No one's watching fucking Casablanca in 4K. You need grain in Casablanca, for fuck's sake.
Well, I mean, if you are, you want it to be as clean a representation of film at that time. I don't want any of this... I don't want the frame rate cleaned up, and I don't want, I don't want it to look like I'm watching a fucking Formula One race. And
I don't want it retouched. Don't retouch anything.
No.
Don't.
You can restore.
Fix something.
Yeah, but obviously don't CGI fix. But you can restore from original negatives. I think that's the way to really kind of because that way we know that we're keeping not only for our own benefit of watching it, but we're keeping a record of these films in the most, the most pristine way we can. You know what I mean? It's a shame if any of these films were lost to time and all we had was like this badly beat up 35mm thing that, was missing reels or, had fucking reel burn and stuff. Like,
Laserdisc.
Or a Laserdisc.
Scratch.
It's
got a scratch in it. Fuck. God damn it.
The one
who
copy
scratched
of the movie.
The one copy of Jaws you own in the world, and you scratched it.
Well done. Idiot. Well done, you dick.
You're fired, Stephen. Is your real name.
But I really liked the way the split diopter shots worked in this. So, when De Palma does it, or... Yeah, I mean, I'll just say De Palma because he uses it the most. But
he uses it a lot, yeah.
And it has that kind of furry bit in the middle, that real out of focus bit in the middle. And then it's like really focused to the left, really focused in the background, but then fuzzy in the middle, right? This didn't have that. Yep. I thought that the foreground and the background, when they were both focused really well, and there was none of that weird kind of fuzzy bit in the middle. I was like, this looks great.
I know what you're talking about. Like beach scene where that kid gets attacked and it comes in and it looks so good when he does it. Like, seriously.
Are you talking about the push and pull?
Yeah, the push and pull.
I love. Yeah. That's one of my favorite little tricks because when I figured out how easy it was to do.
When it's used well, though, like when it's used well.
Yeah.
Some
absolutely.
people don't know how to use it, and you're like, why did you do that? You just wanted to do it.
When we first got a family camcorder. Right?
Yeah.
And me and my brother found out that that's all it is. You're just zooming in while walking away or vice versa.
Yeah.
We just did it all the time. We have videos of us just doing that and being like, whoa!
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Little filmmakers.
Yeah. I love it.
Because it's so easy. It's so easy. I love it.
Especially if you have like a chair on wheels.
Yeah.
Like to do it kind of smoothly. Yeah.
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 For sure. Not us, though. We used to have to just run with it.
Just run. Yeah. That's fine. That works.
Yeah. So, what about... well, it depends. I guess my favorite non-shark moment would be the conversation in the drunk conversation with they all show their scars and we get the story
that
about
classic, and then it turns into the one of the best monologues of all time.
Yeah, it's a pretty great monologue, isn't it?
Yeah, fucking hell.
He's something else in this movie.
Robert Shaw.
Oh, mate, I'm a big fan of Robert Shaw, but me, he is good in this
really
movie.
Good. He is, yeah. I tried to look up, I was like, what else have I seen Robert Shaw in? Because I swear to God, I went, Russia with Love. Yeah, that's what it was. But I thought it was something else, though. I'm pretty sure I've seen you in something.
Yeah, there is something else, and it's not coming to mind now. There's something relatively popular that we might have seen.
The Sting. That's what it is. The Sting. Yeah.
Yeah. I love The Sting.
But yeah, his character is just all of these characters, but his character especially is very flushed out, and you can tell that he is very much a type of person who would, like, the town would have trust in to go and kill something, or he's the type of guy you need to get a certain job done. Like,
yeah, he
has that way about him. He doesn't really care for anyone else. Like, there's respect there. Like when he's in the meeting and when he scratches his nails, he says, "Mayor, Chief, ladies and gentlemen." He's very respectful in when he's kind of out of his element. Put him on his boat though, and he's captain. I am the captain now type of deal. Like, no, you're going to do what I say because,
it's a good point actually because they don't play it like he's the town loon, which you kind of think that's how they are going to play it, but they actually all are just kind of like, look, he's a bit odd, but he's not the joke, you know what I mean? He's not like, there aren't any scenes of people being like, oh, old Quint over there, he'll talk your ear off, they just kind of...
Which you would expect, though. You would expect because he's that, maybe a little bit that sort of character.
But the persona's there, but it's like because he still has the town's respect, even though he is a bit of a weird unit.
Bit of a loon.
Yeah. I do like that, actually. That's really cool.
Would you live in that town? I would totally live in that town.
Yeah, I reckon.
I'm not a big fan of small towns, but I'd totally live in Amityville.
Seems like... Not in Amityville.
No, it's not in Amityville.
I would not want to live in the Amityville house. That's fine.
Too bad.
I would live in Amity, though. Yes, Amity Island.
Amity?
Yeah.
Amity Island.
Look, maybe it's a good retirement place.
You could own it like you owned a bar, Tyson. A bar that's
Maybe,
yours,
yeah.
or would you own the island's only cinema, Tyson?
Oh yes,
and yeah. So me and my wife have talked about this. Where if we were to retire, we would travel. We would move to a small town where we're the only cinema, and we would have three screens.
Yep.
One shows the blockbuster that everyone wants to see. The other one shows the art house film that everyone doesn't want to, maybe wants to see. And the other one shows movies that we want people to see.
Nice.
So we get old reels of, I don't know, fucking Back to the Future and just play Friday night.
Amazing.
Back to the Future. Sure.
I don't know
you
if
go see the
if we talked about this many years ago, and I can't remember if we'd already started the show or not, but there was an ad. Someone was advertising that they were going. They wanted someone to come and live and run their cinema in a small town in Vancouver.
Holy shit!
And you had to write an essay for why you wanted to be the one that was going to be in charge. And I remember seeing that, and I was like, if I saw this 20 years later, like if I was 50, I'd be like, yep, sign me up, because what a way to live out your last, your twilight years. Yeah. Running a cinema in a small place like fucking Mystery Alaska or Northern Exposure style place where it's just
Vancouver, just the only one in Vancouver. Like that would be intense.
Yeah, it wasn't even. It was like
I'm sure Vancouver has.
It was like 2 hours out of Vancouver or something.
Small town. Small town.
But that sounded amazing.
So good. That sounds so good.
Yeah, one day, Nick.
I would rip tickets. I'd be the ticket.
I'd do it old school.
Not that you even own. Like I was talking to a guy at work who very much enjoys film, and I told him about Letterboxd because I really like his opinions on specific films that we talked about, and he's still, Tyson, because I know that we've talked about this. We used to do. Well, I don't do it anymore. Collect ticket stubs. And he still collects his ticket stubs. But because everything is scanning now, he actually has to go up to the cash register, ask them, can you print out my ticket? And they say to him, no, it's on your phone. You don't need to. And he's like, yep, I understand. I understand what you're saying. Can you just print it out for me?
Wow.
And he has to go through the whole thing of, I'm collecting them. Can you please?
Well, good on you, man.
I'm done.
I like it. I used to do that until I realized that I would go and be like, let's go look at my old ticket stubs. And they were all just blank pieces of paper because the ink had just disappeared.
Yes. That happened to me as well.
And I'm like, well, what's the point of this? How am I going to figure what the fuck movie this was?
Exactly. The only one that stood the test of time was Waterworld.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there are the odd occasional ones that just for some reason whatever ink they used that day was like the greatest ink of all time.
I got a fresh batch of new ink in the roll. Yeah, that's why.
Whereas other ones that I had in my wallet for like a week would already be
it was gone.
It was gone. I was like, I don't know.
The one that you actually wanted. You're
exactly.
Like, oh, fucking what the hell? Seriously?
The Indianapolis monologue, though. I wanted to talk about that a little bit because I feel like it's it is the crux of the movie. Really, it's the kind of like, it's such a great moment where everything kind of comes into focus, and it's like you realize that everything you've watched so far becomes this kind of movie about friendship and like how people of different walks of life who can find common ground, how they approach. Like what scares them and what what drives them and all this kind of stuff, and it's just such a well put together little scene.
Yeah,
I just love it, man.
Going from scars, showing each other scars to the Indianapolis to singing, like it really kind of brings the team because when they start off on the Orca, they're not like for starters. Quint doesn't want them there.
Yeah,
Brody's fucking scared of the water and the shark.
Yep,
and what's Richard Dreyfuss's character called?
Hooper.
That's right. Hooper. He's kind of just stuck in the middle sort of thing. So
I think he feels like he wants to be in charge, but he's not allowed to be in charge. He's not allowed.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got that vibe going where he constantly feels like he could do it better. But it has to kind of.
I feel like he's meant to be like the young and up and comer. Like he's the new version of what Quint is.
The cocky upstart.
Right now. Yeah, like on his boat, like he's got the mint boat. He's got all the sonar with all the money and all.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's got all the equipment and all that shit. Whereas Quint and the orca. Like, the orca is such a fucking old boat. I love it. It's so good.
And he's got like a
when you look
couple
at
of
it, when it's-
spears and some barrels.
when
and
it's
that's all he's
sailing
got.
out. Yeah, when it's sailing out and then it's in the mouth of the bone jaws.
Yeah.
of
What
the
a
shark.
shot. What a great shot.
So good. So good. When you see that, you look at the boat and go, that is not a big boat. Do
No.
you know how big this shark is? Like, and we have
You're
to
gonna need
remember,
a
like,
bigger
they
boat.
don't they don't actually know that the shark is a lot bigger.
Yeah, for sure. I love the orca. God, what a great what a great element to this movie. As a prop, it's so good because it matches Quint so perfectly as well. Because it's that like it's basically held together with like spit and gaffer tape, and you can see that that's kind of his go as well. And especially after the Indianapolis speech, you realize that like they can't like this guy must be on like a knife's edge of sanity as well, because basically the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to him, he's still kind of paying for by becoming a shark hunter. Like he goes out and hunts sharks and collects their jaws, but he's obviously still very much affected by that. And could snap.
I love that he says that he has removed the tattoo. It's not as if like Brody sees it and goes, "Oh, what's that?" And he goes, "Oh, it's a tattoo. I've had it removed." So he's doesn't want a reminder.
Yeah, I guess it's the reminder.
Happened, yeah.
Or maybe he also doesn't want people to know and then try and ask him questions about it as well. I feel like that's a really nice element to that as well. Is that it's not only a fucking great monologue and it really puts Quint's character into perspective. It also kind of demonstrates the relationship they've built, because if they didn't have that strong a relationship at that point, he would have just gone, no, it's nothing, don't worry about it. Yeah, he felt comfortable enough to say, all right, no, I'm going to tell these guys this story because they've, we're bonding. We're sharing our war stories.
No one else is here.
Yeah, I really like as well. There's a moment that it kind of gets brushed past really quickly. Is that Brody lifts his shirt up and looks at his own scar that he's got.
Yeah. Is it an appendix scar? Because when I was a kid,
maybe.
When I was a kid, I always thought, because I've had my appendix out, my dad would always go, "Oh, look, he's had his appendix out, just like you." So I always thought it was an appendix thing.
I jumped straight to it being that he was shot on duty.
Yeah, that's what I actually think it is. I actually think he was shot.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and I love that the two of them are like back and forth about these shark injuries that they've got, or like underwater injuries. And you think that Brody can't really relate, but he totally can. Like we're talking about, life-threatening injuries that they've taken based on what they've chosen to do in their life.
Exactly.
I love it because it doesn't get brought up again. He just kind of looks at it, thinks about sharing it, and goes, no, it's okay. I can relate, but I don't need these guys to. I don't want to break what these guys have at the moment. Exactly. I loved it. It's a really sweet moment, I think, for him.
It was good. I love how it's just little things as well. How Hooper, as soon as the Indianapolis is mentioned, he knows exactly what that happened. Brody doesn't. Brody has no idea. No. He's like, "Oh, what happened on the Indianapolis?" He doesn't really know. Whereas Hooper goes quiet straight away.
The mood just shifts immediately.
Just drops.
It's like
which it would.
It's like one of those moments at a party when the music all stops and someone yells out something inappropriate. You just all of a sudden it's just everyone just goes, oh.
You're like, oh.
It's so wonderful how it all shifts so suddenly. Yeah, and look, the story itself is just so terrifying as well. It's probably if we want to talk about scary moments in this movie, this is the one that gives me the willies.
Probably the scariest. Yeah,
and we don't see a single thing. All we do it's like a ghost story. It's like Shaw's delivery is so like it should be a Halloween audiobook. Like he's just so like descriptive in everything. And so it gives me. It's the pure definition of giving the willies. That story.
Yeah, that's very true. I love. This was my first. So because I've watched this multiple times over many years, this was my kind of clear cut, because Jaws, in watching other directors and actors reference Jaws in specific things, especially the Indianapolis story. But they mention three acts of a film, and this was kind of my I can kind of clearly see where the acts are now, and that's where I really liked it. Whereas now when I watch it, where does the first act end? Would you say? Because I feel it's quick. I feel the first act is quite quick.
The first act is probably up to.
Does the second act start when Hooper arrives? Would you say?
Yeah, well, it could either be when Hooper arrives, or it's the day, it's the day after the boy dies.
Oh yeah.
So that's the button. That's the final scene of Act 1 is the second attack. And then Act 2 is all the hubbub leading up to Act 3 when they are on the boat.
Which is they sail off, onto the boat.
Well, it's also a pretty long Act 3, because when I paused it when they were sailing off, and I was like, oh, well, there can only be half an hour left. There is not. There is a good hour left of them just on the boat. I'm like, wow, they're committing to this, and that's huge.
You never feel it, though. I've never felt that.
No. If anything, it feels a little rushed, I thought. Funnily enough, I thought the death of Shaw into the finale felt a little rushed. I was just like, there's no space between this.
No, they go from wheeling up Hooper's cage to finding it empty to the shark literally coming onto the orca. And you're like, Jesus, I totally forgot that was that quick.
I thought maybe,
from then on in, it just starts.
Well, that's what I mean. That to me is the finale. It's that from that moment to the end is the finale. But I honestly just thought that we'd have a little bit more time with Hooper being missing, that they would have that moment of being like, oh, we've lost him. What are we going to do now? Maybe Jaws circles around a couple of times while they're trying to steady the boat. But no, you're right. It just goes, oh shit, we lost Hooper. Oh fuck.
Yeah, massive shark.
Holy shit, shark. And then there you go.
I love it's so good. So many moments. But no, it's gone. It'll come back. Damn it.
What about, I have some questions for you.
Oh, sure.
I feel like, and this is in look, I don't want to downplay the grief of the mother who lost her son. That's obviously, that's terrible.
Sure.
Is it fair though to give Brody a hard time about that? I don't think so.
No, I think she doesn't know who to lash out to, and
I know she's just kind of the movie's trying to get us to think that Brody should feel bad. And I'm kind of like, no, Brody, you tried.
It's not feeling bad. I think that he is, because he could have pushed the mayor. He could have pushed him, but because the mayor came at him, well, Brody, this is your first summer. We're a summer island.
I can see how it all comes to be, and I think it makes sense as a character. But the one thing that kind of got me is that they had the guy there, the coroner, who wanted to change his opinion and say, no, I feel like it's a boating accident. So without him, he's actually got no proof. And even the mayor was saying, well, you've got to sign this, we've got to approve this, we've got to do all this. I feel like he was shot down. I don't feel like it was as much a choice of his to say, all right, cool, I won't push it. I feel like it was, if he had the opportunity... And because he then sits there, he watches them the whole day. Like, the chief of police is not a beach cop. Like, he doesn't have to be, on lifeguard duty. But he spends the whole day there, sitting, waiting, keeping one eye open on everything while that fucking asshole talks to him about his, the birds that are fucking up his tree or something. And he's... I was like Brody in that moment.
His wife goes, can you come over here?
Yeah. I was Brody in that instant because he was talking and I was like, I'm not listening to this fucking dude. I'm watching the water with Brody. So it seems like to me like he and like I'm not saying you're right. She wanted to find, she needed someone to
lash
channel
out to.
It. But why not the mayor? Why not the fucking mayor?
She doesn't. Yeah, she didn't hear that. Like putting two and two together. If a girl got killed by the shark, it would be up to the chief of police, not the mayor, to close the beaches, because it's up to him to keep the people of the town safe. I know it's harsh, and I kind of like that it's a bit harsh though, because it's lumping more responsibility onto Brody, and that's where when their son you know, their eldest son gets brushed past and goes into shock after seeing Jaws.
Yeah.
Him and his wife are kind of like, it's a very little moment, but you know, him saying, take this little one home, and she goes, home to New York? He goes, no, home here, because we need to, this is our home.
That was going to be one of my questions too.
Yeah.
Do you reckon she never wanted to move there, or is that just a response to the fact that she's like, I want to get out of here? Like, because she delivers it in a way almost like, told you so?
I think it's genuine. Yeah, I think it's a genuine question.
Okay.
For him,
like, are we done? Are we done here? Do you think?
Yeah, I don't think we. I don't think she's torn. She's torn either way. Yeah. She could go back to New York, sure, but she, you know.
I felt like a bit of a sting in her delivery, and I was like, maybe she never wanted to come here ever.
Yeah. There is that conversation at the start when they're talking about the heat when we get introduced to Brody.
Oh yeah,
in the bedroom,
right. Yeah,
remember?
Yeah.
And he goes, you don't, it's not this hot in New York. We could always go back, sort of thing. And so you do get that. But I felt when she delivers back to New York that the line, I always took it as a question, like a genuine, do you want to go back to New York? Like, have you had enough?
Yeah, I get you.
Are you sure?
Maybe for the safety of everybody, we can kind of just pull the pin on this.
Pull the pin and just
that's a great scene too as well. The mayor in that scene is really great when he's lost his mind.
He's broken. Yeah, he's fucked up. Yeah,
and
and he knows that he has. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
My God. I love the fact that the friend of the mayor who's sitting there with his family, like wife and 3 children, and the mayor comes up and goes, hey, get your ass in the fucking water. If I was the mayor, I'd be going, dude, fuck you. You get in.
You get in the water, buddy. I'm catching some rays.
Exactly. Why don't you shake some people's hands, have a beer, and kiss some babies in the water instead of being on the beach in a 3-piece suit, you idiot.
Yeah.
Like,
if there's anybody that ever gives the argument about a pandemic that small businesses are going out of, are losing their income, just show them the mayor in Jaws and say, you see what you're saying right now? This is you.
This is you.
You're this guy.
You're the mayor.
You're the mayor. You're the mayor in Jaws. Yeah, exactly. Do you like the mayor in Jaws? Do you think he's right? Because if you don't...
side with the mayor in Jaws.
Okay, you watched a different movie to me.
Yeah.
That
clearly.
poor mayor,
right.
He was just trying to keep the income of the town steady.
The hotels depend on it.
Yes.
They really do.
Consumerism. Bless.
Oh, dear.
Very good. What else?
Good.
What else, Nick? There's a lot.
I want to talk about the how Spielberg uses, because he barely shows the shark. It's one of my favorite things. How he uses the yellow barrels as suspense. I think it's such a fucking great, work of how when the shark has 3 barrels and he can't go down, and there's the shot of the 3 barrels going towards the boat, and then it just goes under the boat completely, and you don't see the barrels again. And it's like, it shows suspense. It shows how fucking powerful the shark is, for starters. And it keeps changing the game every single first barrel. Sure, we've got a tracker on him. We see how he goes. We'll wait it out. Don't worry, because I love it. The on the boat at the end in the 3rd act, it goes in stages. Like the fact that Quint is using a fishing rod to catch Jaws is kind of laughable, but they don't really know that yet. So
there must be a scene in a spoof movie of some description where somebody does all those things that he does. He just latches onto the thing and he stands on the thing and gets his counterweight and then literally just gets dragged into the ocean in one giant pool.
So we go from a fishing line to 1 barrel to 2 barrels to 3, and then they're really at a wit's end.
No way.
They're really at a wit's end. They're really at a wit's end to the point where Quint goes, Hopper, what can you do with these? Because we're kind of out of... I don't know what to do anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We probably should have maybe put that on the spears that they kept shooting him with. maybe.
I was gonna, that was kind of the only plot hole.
Maybe try and
that
slow
I
him down a
found.
little bit.
I was like, hey, maybe shoot him with that. You know,
I mean, you know, you don't have to it doesn't have to be like a full injection. Just lather up the tip of the spear with that stuff. Wear some gloves when you're about to handle it, and give it a good crack. You know, you might not just slow him down a little bit. You know what? Pour it on some of the chum.
Yes.
I don't know, man. I just feel like any chance I'd have, I'd be trying to poison everything that I could potentially think of. It's like, oh, he wants to chew that. All right, well, let's dip it in poison.
I'd be Brody. I'd take Brody's approach and just start shooting a 6-shooter into the fucking
out
water.
his handgun,
and everyone goes, Nick, what the fuck are you doing?
That's not going to do it, buddy. And like a severe lack.
You're not winning, man.
There's not many things that I know about shark attacks, but there is one thing that I will try in the unforeseen event that I suffer a shark attack. I mean, it's hard enough getting me in the water anyway.
Oh, really?
I'm not the biggest beach water guy. Like, I don't mind a little bit of a float in a nice beach, but crowded beaches are like the worst things in the world for me. I have absolutely no interest. So anyway, let's say, for instance, I get attacked by a shark. The one thing that I have been told to do, one thing only, is to poke him in the eye repeatedly.
Right.
Now,
where the fuck did you hear
maybe
that?
I just made that up. Maybe I'm just... Maybe I feel like I saw it on like a Mythbusters or something, or
fucking Steve Irwin shit right there.
Exactly. And look, that might not do anything, but it's better than just sitting there and waving around and hoping that they just let me go.
Not doing anything.
So poke him in the fucking eye. There's a severe lack of any eye poking in this movie. Nobody goes for the eyeball. I was like, what are you doing, guys? Come on.
Yeah. Brody could have hit him with that poking stick.
Yeah.
You know, at the end, like he pokes his nose, but yeah.
How good is that? Like the way it's just like literally, it's the last. Not only is it a movie where it's like, okay, so this is the last shot. It's actually Brody's last chance as well. Like it's the way it's structured.
It's either
got
this or nothing.
It's got its own little ticking clock on it. The boat sinking. Love it.
But it doesn't make a lesser movie would have had a shot of the boat sinking as like a ticking clock.
Yeah, you would have seen like water peeling in, and it would have been.
Oh no! Look what's happening. No! You don't need that.
No.
The
action just continues, and then all of a sudden he's doing the Jack Sparrow balance on the.
He's got a fucking foot in the water.
Yeah,
like he has one foot is in that water. Yeah. Yeah,
for sure.
That's why
for some reason,
Spielberg's the master, man.
He is, man. He's absolutely the master. I always thought that the shotgun, the rifle shot of the air tank wasn't the end for some reason. I thought there was another bit after that. I don't know why I've got that in my head.
Okay.
I just have this. I had this memory that, and it's obviously a false memory, but for some reason that it like came back again, but was like a bit fucked up, but wasn't like fully exploded yet for some reason.
Right.
Obviously, that doesn't happen.
Jaws,
the air tank.
Revenge? No?
Maybe I was just thinking of Jaws 2. Have you seen any of the sequels, Nicholas?
I took it a point. I said this quite back in the video store days, and I remember holding it because I didn't want to. I knew that Jaws was such a fantastic movie and tied to my childhood and my father that I didn't want to ruin it. So I will never watch the Jaws sequels ever.
Interesting.
Yeah. I knew that it wasn't gonna. I've never heard anyone talk about them as being good. I've never seen them referenced in pop culture, or maybe I have and I don't know it. But yeah, I will never watch.
No, fair enough.
Sequels.
I have seen about half an hour of Jaws: The Revenge because it was on TV late one night. And
is that Jaws 4?
Yes. Now, and I didn't even know that it was Jaws when I flipped across. This was days before. Digital video TV guides and stuff. So you'd scan through and have to be like, well, what's this?
Yeah, what's this?
And ladies and gentlemen, that was not that long ago, believe it or not. This was, I was probably 22 or 23.
Yep.
So, but I saw Michael Caine, and that was what made me go, Michael Caine movie. All right, cool. Let's see what it is. Can't be that bad. It's Michael Caine. And I watched half an hour and was like, oh my God, this is appalling.
Yeah.
And when they start talking about the fact that, yes, the shark is out for revenge, I was just like, it's a shark, though.
Oh.
It's a shark.
Hang on, revenge?
As in...
The shark died.
This movie is about a shark legitimately with a vendetta. It's not just like hunting, it's not just like man against nature. It's like a Bond villain.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. Michael Caine. I do kind of want to watch Jaws 3D, though, because it sounds fun, because it's in like a SeaWorld kind of thing.
Okay. I do love. I will give. You know what? I will give. Comeuppance. That wrong
Credit?
word, Nicholas. I will give credit to is the covers of Jaws.
Oh, they look great, don't they?
Of the sequels, they're always quite good.
Yeah.
Like the original Jaws is like a classic. Like if you have that poster, like goddamn, that's.
Oh, everyone knows that poster. Everyone, that's iconic.
Like Jaws 2, Jaws 3D, and Jaws Revenge. Like the posters are great.
Does the shark have 3D glasses on in Jaws 3D, or am I imagining that?
The poster?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
you're a psycho.
I think there is a poster with the shark with 3D glasses on. I'm going to try and find that.
All right. There probably will be.
Because, I mean, you wouldn't want to
push
waste
it
that
past.
opportunity, surely.
Exactly. Oh, Jesus. Dennis Quaid
Dennis Quaid.
is in... Who's in... So Brody comes back in Jaws 2.
Yeah, Brody's...
I know that.
Brody's back for Jaws 2, and then Dennis Quaid is his son in the third one, I think.
Oh, wow. Yep. Which son?
Oh, yeah, good point. Which son?
Younger, older?
I think the older son.
It's Mike.
Because
Mike.
in the fourth one, you have Lance Guest from Last Starfighter.
Lance Guest.
He's in there as well. And is he one of the Brodies as well? Or is he somebody else entirely?
He plays Michael Brody. He plays the same character as Dennis
Quaid.
Dennis Quaid.
Well, that's not right. What? So they go backwards.
Yeah. Sean is the name of the other child, and he's in Jaws 3D. But yeah, it's obviously all set on Amity Island, right?
No, with the third one, I don't think it is. I think it's it's somewhere in Florida at like a SeaWorld kind of style place. Look, I don't know.
Right. Okay. Who cares?
Bottom
Jaws
line,
1.
who really cares?
Bottom line, Jaws 1.
Jaws 1, it's where it's at. What a great movie. Yeah. I look forward to making this far more regular in my movie watching. And maybe this will be the straw that broke the camel's back when it comes to some of those early Spielbergs that I've been resistant to for some reason.
You should definitely watch What Did I Buy You in the first season of Nick Tys and Videotape?
Always.
What is it? Always.
That's a good point.
I'm so glad you own that. And I love it. I have two movies where people have bought them for me, and I'm like, I'll watch it eventually. But there's two. One I will watch eventually, and the other one I will never, ever, 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 ever open. A friend of mine knows how much I don't like Adam Sandler's anything after Little Nicky sucks, right?
Okay.
It's a full pass for me.
Sure.
So she brought me Jack and Jill, and that will sit on my in my collection till the day I die, unopened, unless Clark Kingsley opens it, and I go, Clark, put that back, put it back. No,
don't touch it.
Open it.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. Exactly. Angel, if you're listening, God damn you.
Oh dear. Well, Nick, I think maybe we should move on to our next segment.
Yeah, let's do that. Which is
what did you watch this week?
Yeah.
Well done. That was a good one, Nick.
I like it. That was a good one.
That was a good one. Nick, what did you watch this week?
All right. Oh, it's nice. What else did I watch other than Jaws? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I
feel like you're always setting me up for something when you go like that. You're like, all right. It's like get your head around this.
Okay, well, I don't actually want to talk about this movie, Tyson, because I know you haven't seen it yet. I would love to do a full 20-minute little talk on what I'm about to talk about, but because you haven't seen it, I'm going to make it very quick and very, very short. I went to the cinema, Tyson.
Yeah, well, that's pretty remarkable, Nicholas. We're talking... I don't think it can be understated. We have not been to a cinema in a very long time.
Yeah, that's true. The last thing I saw at a cinema, Tyson, was...
Castaway.
No. Was Rise of the Skywalker.
Oh, yeah. So that wasn't even this year, was it? Because you would have been last... No. Yeah, it would have been last year.
No. Yep, correct.
Dude, that actually might be mine too. I don't know if I got to a movie this year before it all went to shit.
No, I didn't. Oh, well, I don't think that I did. But yes, Tyson, I was allowed inside a cinema. They handled it very well. We were very spaced out. Everyone kind of had a row to themselves sort of thing. So it was very spaced out, very nice. There wasn't that many people in the cinema. But I saw Tenet, Tyson. Now, everyone's a Nolan fan. You kind of can't not be. The man's a genius. But, I'm not going to talk about the film at all. What I would like to talk about is I feel that people need to just read up about Tenet just a touch before going to see it. If the intention of making a film is to have people see it again, which if a film is good, it should do that anyway. The movie's so good that I want to see it again, sure. Right. But if you are doing things in the film where it requires a second watch, then I have major issues with you.
As in you can't form an opinion of it until you see it a second time because it's dependent on it.
Correct. So yeah, this is the only movie that I haven't rated in Letterboxd. I literally sat and just stared at it for about 10 minutes, and I was like, I don't have an opinion on this movie. I don't have one yet. I need to rewatch it again to form my opinion still. Like, even after sitting on it for that long, I was like, no, I still can't. I don't have anything tangible to hold on to.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
So
interesting.
Yeah, so I really think that if you are going to see Tenet, any listeners, just read up a little bit about it. I'm not talking about the storyline. I'm talking about the film itself.
Yeah,
so
sure.
just have a little bit of a read and try and see it in a small cinema if you can.
Right.
I know that sounds weird, but it's going to help.
Okay, sure.
That's all I kind of want to say.
Was it worth it? Was it worth venturing out into the great unknown? Can't even say that.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
the fact that, I definitely, for those who are listening, I'm sure you know me. I'm not the type of person that at the end of Inception, I went, well, what the fuck just happened? I am not that person. So having this movie kind of knock me about a bit and go, did you catch that? I was like, you know what? Fuck, I didn't. Like, I really didn't.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, and there's reasons why. It's not the storyline itself. As for those people who know, like, it does deal with time travel, but that has nothing to do with what I was trying to piece together in what the movie was.
Are you talking about the terrible dialogue mix? Is that part of it?
That's my main beef.
Yeah, okay.
My main beef is that. Like, I think, and in reading what I've heard Nolan say after Tenet has come out, where people, even filmmakers, have come out and said, Nolan, buddy, we can't hear anything.
Right.
And if you can't, if you are making a movie and your plot needs to be, shown to the audience rather than a visual thing. If your plot is dialogue driven, then we need to hear it. If we don't hear it, unfortunately, we're not going to get it. Now, what I take away from that is, like, if I don't hear something, this is what happens in any film. If I don't hear something, if I'm in the cinema, then I think to myself, that's cool. I'll let it go. I'll just let it go. If it happens again, cool, that's fine. 2, whatever. 3 times, I'm like, okay, now you're kind of a little bit getting on my nerves. 3, 4 times, I'm completely fucking lost. I'm like, I'm going to write you off unless you fucking talk to me.
Sure.
And then if it happens again, unfortunately, I'm not there. So I'm like, okay, so it gets, I'm not going to say which point it got to, but yeah, it was a struggle for me.
Okay,
and I really like it. And it was kind of hard because it was my first movie back to the cinema, and I was like, no, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. And So definitely, I'd like people to have a bit of a read before they go.
Well, I'm not gonna see it in cinema anyway. I feel like the digital release is actually not that far away.
No, it's December. It's mid-December. So
I'll crack that out, and I'll definitely use the subtitles then. So it seems. which isn't the worst thing.
even
I have
me-
subtitles on quite a bit when I watch movies now, just because
Yeah.
I
'Cause you
don't have a
wanna miss
nice,
anything.
and I also don't have a really great sound setup. So a lot of the way that my TV tries to interpret some of these digital sound encoding things is not great for dialogue a lot of the time. So I just put the subtitles on and just spare the trouble. So
Yeah. Maybe you don't need subtitles. Maybe it'll be different at home.
Yeah.
The gents that I went with, one of them had read up quite a bit about and had kind of a leg up on what he was going to see. Not plot-wise,
sure.
but knew that there was going to be possibly some dialogue issues, and he enjoyed it a hell of a lot more than I did.
Okay.
So yeah. But yeah, I'd love to be able to rate it, but I just can't.
Well,
not in
maybe
this viewing anyway.
Because look, I'm excited to see it. So once it is available, I'll be pretty quick to see it. I think so. We can have a chat about it together, maybe with a bit more of a spoilery chat. Once that does come out,
let's do that.
Very good.
What did you watch, Tyson?
I'll talk about a couple of things. There was actually a movie I wanted to talk about from a little while ago, Nick, that I forgot to mention. I wanted to recommend specifically for you because I think you'll quite like it. It's a movie from 2018 called Freaks. And now this is just on Binge. Okay,
right,
and it's a movie. It's starring Emile Hirsch.
Yes.
And Bruce Dern is in it. There's a couple of other character actors that you might recognize, like Amanda Crew, and if you ever watched any Battlestar Galactica, you might recognize Grace Park.
Okay.
So this is I feel like it should have been a bigger movie than it is, but it's basically a bit of a riff on X-Men.
Right.
But from the perspective of somebody who may or may not be living in a world where powers are real. It may be, like, imagine, like how the way 10 Cloverfield Lane spends a lot of the movie kind of questioning whether or not the alien invasion is actually happening. So this is a similar kind of vibe between a father and daughter who the father has locked away the daughter and is telling her that she's not normal. She has to stay inside. But maybe it's not really a thing, and he might just be a very unwell individual.
Right.
And it's really great. Like, it takes a little while to find its feet, and you're kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this movie. Its visual style is a little bit action television, I'll say. Like, it feels a little bit every now and then like I'm watching like an episode of
Buffy.
Yeah, okay. No, that's not a bad way to put it. Yeah. But when it kicks into gear and it shifts gears like it really does, it is fantastic. And I was really, really on board. It's so creative. There are some things in it that I've never seen before. There are some ideas in it that I've never come across before. Like, it is as imaginative a superhero movie, if we want to call it that I've seen in years. And I really got into it. Really thought it was fantastic. And it kind of got buried. I saw some random people talking about it online, and I was a bit like, that looks kind of interesting. I watched a trailer for it and thought, maybe. And then I just saw it was floating on Binge, and I was like, oh, that was that movie I heard about. And so, it was a real pleasant surprise. I went in with no expectations, and it really, really surprised me and became a very solid, like one of the favorite things I've seen this year. Just as far as it's so nice to have a movie that you go in with just zero expectations and you end up loving. Like, you're just kind of like, wow, that was really great.
I love that. I love that.
And it just takes a little bit of patience, to kind of get into the vibe of the movie and get on board. But if you stick around for it and if it's tickling your fancy, I tell you what, the last 45 minutes pays off in spades. I'm recommending that specifically for you, Nicholas, because I think you'll dig it.
Nice. I'm in. I'm totally in. And I have Binge, so bring it on.
There you go. Did you watch anything else, Nick?
I can quickly mention something. Sure.
Yeah, go for it.
I am going to. I need another franchise. So I'm going down.
No,
the
you're feeling a bit
Caribbean.
You're feeling a bit lost now that the James Bonds are over.
The Bonds are finished. Well, I have to wait until next year, because I'm really glad that Apple didn't pay the amount that that was getting up to. That was really fucking stupid.
Oh, no, it's madness.
My God. But yeah, I watched, so in quick succession, I watched Dead Man's Chest and At World's End. And because I'd seen it when they first came out, and my initial reaction was that I didn't like it, but that was back in 2006. So I was like, maybe I'll give it a watch again. It's been a while. And yeah, really, like, especially because the first Pirates of the Caribbean is such an adventure. Like it is like one of the best, right? The score is hands down. Like I spoke about it before on the podcast when I watched it, but it can't be that hard. Well, I guess it can to kind of capture that lightning in a bottle to do it again. In like even in a little bit, a little bit of a sense. Yeah, I felt that these are just mediocre movies, man. They're not good and they're not bad. They're just kind of, oh yeah, that was okay. And you know me, Tys, like that's kind of the worst thing that you can be. Like, Dead Man's Chest, sure, I'll give it. There were moments, especially on the beach, when Norrington rocks up and he's old school, all trashed up and shit. Yeah, that's fun. And they're having the fight off. It's great. It's fine. But At World's End, man, like seriously, what a fucking mediocre piece of shit. Like, full pass. And that is not a short movie. No, it's not. I watched that and I was like, fuck, I could have done anything else. Like I literally felt like I wasted time. Sure. I was like, it's really like when people say, like when they're watching a movie that's bad, the term I will never get that time back, I have never used that ever. This is the time that I'm going to use it. Well, when I will never get that 3 fucking hours, time back. Like, sorry. Fuck.
You can forgive a movie for stealing 90 minutes of your life. It's a bit harder to do that when it's 180 minutes of your life.
Exactly. I could have watched fucking Lord of the Rings. Are you kidding me? I could have fucking seen some Lord of the Rings shit. Or fucking watched Green Mile and bawled my eyes out, for fuck's sake. Yeah. Like, my God.
To be honest, dude, I bought the DVD set of them years ago, and that was the last time I watched all three of them together. And I remember liking At World's End more than Dead Man's Chest, which is interesting.
Right, yeah. Because looking up like reviews of Dead Man's Shit At World's End, everyone's like, "Nah, this is the best of the series." What? I'm like, did I watch the same fucking movie?
I mean, it's not the best. It's not the best of the series at all. But for some reason, I remember feeling like Dead Man's Chest was a real, just meandering, like convoluted mess. And then At World's End, they kind of found their focus again, but it was still too long and ridiculous and. But it had some. I just remember it having a little bit more going for it than Dead Man's Chest. But like I said, it's been at least 10 years since I've watched them, so it would be fun to go back and watch them, and maybe even try and do 4 and 5. Are you going to do 4 and 5?
I am definitely going to do 4 and 5 because I can't end it at World's End. I need to keep going. So
I wish you well. Then.
On Stranger Tides, here we go.
On Rob Stranger Marshall. Tides, one of the few movies in my life I've turned off before finishing. There's not many.
Don't you love that?
I usually force myself through, but
I think I've counted 5 movies. I don't remember them. The only one I remember was Ghosts of Mars.
Oh, I like Ghosts of Mars.
John Carpenter.
Yeah,
I know you do. We've talked about it before. But yeah, Ghosts of Mars. I was like, fucking no.
I just watch the hell out of that any day of the week. But yeah, there was
that's hysterical.
On Stranger Tides.
But I was a teenager at the time, like when it first came out, and it was a preview tape, and I was like, nah, pass.
It got a pretty rough rap when it first came out as well. There's a moment in On Stranger Tides where there's a big kind of like Johnny Depp being fucking Johnny Depp around this ballroom or this dinner table or something. Yeah. And it's exactly like every other fight sequence they've ever had. It's just like slapstick. He's cutting, curtain rods with his sword and it falls on one of the people and he dances up on the table and jumps from thing to thing and lands on like a fucking chandelier. And I was just
sure.
I have absolutely no patience for this nonsense and just turned.
Is Stranger Tides shorter at least?
Yeah, it is. I think it's back to a bit under 2 hours.
Nice.
But I think the 5th one is long again. I think they jacked up the runtime again on that one. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right.
Good.
Let's see how we go.
Hey, I wish you well.
Be fun.
Good luck on your endeavours.
Thanks, man.
I'm going to talk about one more, Nicholas. I actually watched for the first time ever, I'm fairly certain. I watched the Cape Fear remake. Scorsese.
Scorsese?
Because that was on binge, and it was like, I have the Blu-ray, and I've just never cracked it out now because I don't have my Blu-rays with me. I was like, it popped up on binge, and I was like, well, I've always wanted to crack out that Blu-ray. It's time to do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
And it's a really strange vibe, that movie.
I remember liking it. I
do like it, but I mean, it's unfair because I think with Scorsese, I've got such high expectations. But for me, it was it was just a totally fine movie, and
sure.
It doesn't feel like a Scorsese movie. It feels more like a De Palma movie or a Hitchcock movie. And that's fine. He's riffing on those guys. That's great. But
he's doing a thing.
I miss Scorsese doing Scorsese. And that's kind of what I wanted to see. You know what I mean? I think if I wanted to watch De Palma do a movie like this, I could just watch any other of De Palma's movies. Like, they're all like that. That's basically his bread and butter. Yeah, so I don't know. It was an odd experience. I feel like some of it works really well. Like, I think, like scenes with the De Niro basically just being a creepo when he's stalking them and having those kind of one-on-one conversations with them. That's what I think works the best. When he's like in full crazy mode trying to kill them, I think it gets a little bit laughable at times.
Yeah, right.
But having said that, there's some moments in those sequences that are really quite outstanding. It's all a little bit too, like, I know he's a rapist, but it's also all a little bit uncomfortable as well. Do you think you're maybe meant to feel like that? Of course,
it's not meant to be a nice movie. But it's not the 90s thriller that you're expecting.
No,
I think that's what it's
like when you watch Seven or something, you are mentally prepared for some of that kind of nastiness. I don't think I was fully prepared for this. Like, there's a sequence towards the finale where he's got him trapped on the houseboat, and he's basically trying to handcuff him and tell him to get naked because he's going to like ceremoniously rape them both, the mother and the daughter. And I'm just like,
mother and daughter.
Yeah, I'm not really digging that at the moment. Like, that's that. I think I was kind of. I think because it is so trashy, like, because it's deliberately trashy, this movie. It's got that real kind of like, all the angles are really kind of like push-in zooms and like real kind of blood reds. Everything's really, there's lots of shadows and stings and all this kind of stuff. And that gives
is it set in Miami?
Yeah,
I feel
it's
like it's
set in Miami.
It is.
So everything's really sweaty and trashy. And then it goes real, then the content becomes really, really offensively serious, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, because that like, I'm not saying that this stuff doesn't happen, but I think it just kind of put me in a weird state of mind where I was like, I wanted fun trashy, and I got really serious.
And I got a little too serious,
trashy.
And people are getting raped here.
Yeah, exactly. De Niro's fine. I like it. I find it strange that this is one of those performances that people like. He was Oscar nominated for this, and I'm just kind of like, he's fine. He's definitely doing a thing.
1991, man. It wasn't obviously it wasn't a stellar year.
I don't.
He is like it is a remake. Not that Scorsese shies away from remakes, like Departed.
Yeah.
What was there another one?
There was another one. You're right. There was one other one.
Departed.
Well, he made a sequel to The Hustler and stuff. So,
but like he's
It's funny because I think I like De Niro where he's a little bit more subtle. This is not a subtle performance in any shape or form.
Have you seen Mean Streets?
I have not. No,
I have always wanted to see Mean Streets.
I think that's streamable. I think that's on Stan, if I remember correctly.
It is. It's been sitting on my list for fucking years. But so Raging Bull I've never seen. Mean Streets I've never seen. Casino I've watched once and I don't really remember it. Goodfellas I've seen multiple times.
Yeah.
Like all of the old school Scorsese I need to see, whereas The Aviator and Hugo and even Shutter Island to some extent, I'll probably never watch them again. I was like, I prefer an older, more grittier Scorsese.
Yeah, I think he really did hit a sweet spot for a little while. But then again, I thought I'd maybe not gotten over him, but had lost a bit of passion for him. But then Silence from a couple of years ago, man, that was all time. Like, that was so good. I absolutely loved it. So I kind of go with ebbs and flows with him, where I think maybe this one wasn't my favorite, but then I watch one from a year earlier or a year later, and I'm like, well, this is amazing. So I think it's because he's constantly evolving and he's constantly trying to do different things. Turns out Scorsese trying to be Hitchcock or De Palma isn't really for me. I don't think. I still, like I said, it's a solid 7 out of 10 trashy thriller. But yeah,
Sure.
I think I was just expecting a little bit more and a little bit more fun, which it was not. But how good is that score, though? Like, if we're talking all-time scores, it's up there as it is.
It's pretty good.
That music is out of control good. And it's a recreation of an old 50s of the score from the original, but it's also got elements of unused material from like some Hitchcock movies or something, they were saying.
Yeah.
So it's like this mishmash of stuff. I think that's really cool. I really like that.
I remember my media teacher went through Cape Fear and kind of talked, because we weren't allowed to watch it at school, but went through it and kind of talked about what he liked about it and things like that. And he was such a fucking good teacher. But yeah, I remember him telling us about Cape Fear and how they pulled things from Hitchcock and things like that. I was like, geez.
There is a ton. There's a ton to like on a technical level in this movie. Like, it's really, really full of stuff like that, where you can just acknowledge it and appreciate it as a craft. Like, it's all the way through it. But like I said, I think the sum of its parts aren't quite the equal to, or maybe outweigh the whole. In this case,
who is the original? Oh, Robert Mitchum.
Yeah,
the original. Yeah, I've seen him in the movie that I've watched twice. It's so good. The Night of the Hunter, 1955.
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone should see that. It's not streamable.
Yeah. Well, I am going to watch the original one, because I'm very intrigued to see how they handled that storyline back in the 60s, or is it late 50s or early 60s? I can't remember.
Good question. Oh wow, he popped up in the remake.
Yeah, he's there. He plays a small part, and so does Atticus Finch. Yeah, Peck.
Oh, nice.
They're both in there for very small roles.
Nice. 1962.
Oh, there you go, 62. Yeah. So I'm intrigued to see how they handle some of these storylines and how much of an adaptation they do, or they did.
Yeah, cool.
Did very good, Nick. I think that might wrap us,
very
man.
good.
Do you want to remind the people where they can find our show?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. My name is Nicholas. This is Tyson. If you do like what you've heard us talk about Jaws, we didn't really talk. I feel like we didn't do it justice, but it's Jaws.
We were never going to be able to do
like a week of doing Jaws. Like, seriously. Please like, subscribe, rate, review wherever you're listening to the podcast. Other than that, we have a social media presence, which is on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. This is the time where I'm going to say, absolutely jump on the Facey and the Insta, because the posters for this sucker that I found are so good, I need them as almost prints in my house. Like, they are that good. Obviously, Jaws has brought out some rad artists, and some of this stuff is just phenomenal. So yeah, jump on Instagram, jump on Twitter, type in Nick Tys and Videotape. You'll find us in there. Other than that, we are on YouTube as well. We do have a Gmail account, which is nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com. And if you want to find out what Tyson and myself rated Jaws, you can follow us on the Letterboxd app and find that out. So if you follow Tyson is TYS_videotape, and I am NIC_videotape.
That is it, Nicholas. Next week, Nicholas, with very exciting news.
Next week.
It is the first episode of December.
It is.
So we will be starting one of our favourite months. It's not quite it's not quite our spookisodes, but it's a lot of fun. We're going to be doing our not quite Christmas movie specials in the lead up to Christmas 2020.
Good Lord.
Now I have no idea what movie that's going to be, Nicholas. So maybe we need to do a bit of research, and
I think so,
because we've almost exhausted our options over the last 3 years. Because specifically, we like them to be Christmas movies that you don't realise are Christmas movies.
That's true.
So,
like Iron Man 3.
Well, we haven't done actually. That might need to be one.
Hang on a minute.
That might need to be one of them.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
So yes. So maybe we'll go to the drawing board. Hey, we could even do crackers.
That's it. We might.
No.
It is funny that we have literally never done an Australian film, 162 episodes.
No, it's not.
We haven't done one Australian film.
If you know Tyson and you know myself, then you know that we're not going to do an Australian movie.
It's true.
So sorry about that.
But yeah, so keep an eye on.
If you were to do Tyson, like right now, if you were to pick an Australian movie that you were to do on this show, what would it be?
It would be Two Hands.
I think mine would. Oh, really? Mine would probably be Mad Max, the first.
Oh, yeah. Nice. I like it. But yeah, so if you are interested, I think maybe get on the social medias, keep an eye out.
Oh, yeah.
And we also are taking suggestions, of course. So if you think that there's a movie that you're begging out for us to do during our Not Quite Christmas Movies specials,
that's true,
that we just have not mentioned, by all means, get on the email machine and send us through something, and we will take a look at it for sure.
Except for The Christmas Prince 2, we're definitely not doing
We won't be doing that, or those weird Santa movies with Kurt Russell as Santa. As much as I love Kurt Russell, no thank you.
No thank you.
No thank you.
Oh, lovely.
All right, Nick, I think that's going to leave it there, man.
That's it. That's good, Tys. I like it.
I'll talk to you next week, man.
Bye, man.
See you, bye.
Bye.